topic is about psychics, mediums, and my early experiences when it comes to psychic readings, okay? But before I actually begin, let me actually say this first because I'm pretty sure not all people are going to believe on this topic. Not all people are open to it. And I have friends as well who's not used to me talking about this. You know, it's not something that I normally share with any of the people that I've met. They got used to me talking about music. They got used to me talking about animes, Visual Kei, anything to do with Japan, things like that. Mostly music or bands and fashion or whatever. And I also have friends who are actually very, very religious, devout Catholics, or some of them are Mormons or Muslims. But then again, I just want to say that I respect all kinds of religion. I really do. And I also believe that religion and spirituality are totally different things. It might be quite similar, but they're actually different, okay? I also believe that there is actually no true religion, anything to do with the path towards the light, anything to do with kindness, doing good for others, is actually the true religion. So whether you're a Mormon, you're a Muslim, or you're a Christian, I respect all of you. I respect your belief, I respect your religion. And this recording is not for the purpose of convincing anyone out there to believe in what I'm going to share. I'm just going to share my personal experience, my personal belief. We all have our right anyway to, the freedom basically to speak our truth. Okay. So again, this is not to convince anyone to believe. I'm just going to share my personal experience. Okay. So let's move on. You might be wondering, why is it that I'm drawn to psychics, about the subject of psychics, healers, mediums? It's because, number one, I actually came from a family of psychics, okay? Usually, it actually came from my father, And speaking of my father, I want to, share this story that as a very young kid, I think I was only 4 or 5, I grew up actually listening to my father discussing the topics about past life, about spirituality, about psychics, about paranormal stuffs, about Egypt, about, what else? Law of attraction, even before The Secret came out. Honestly, when that actually came out, we were all shocked. My brothers, my sister and I were all shocked, like, this is what our dad has been talking about, So, yeah, even before The Secret came out, he would actually talk to us about it, about manifestation, manifest what you want, law of attraction. So, yeah, he would always discuss that with us as, at a very young age. He would also talk about past life and regression. When it comes to past life, I believe he also had a regression with Jaime Licauco. Jaime Licauco is also a teacher, and my father would attend his seminars, and I believe when he actually had a regression, he was a high priest back in Egypt. And yeah, so basically my father would discuss that every afternoon once he came home from work. We would always have that talk, and something that I truly miss, because my father is actually my mentor and my bestest friend. I love my dad so much, and I'm happy to know actually when I just, found out years ago that he was actually right now my spirit guide. So yeah, I'm very, very glad to know that. And also, my father is a big fan, by the way, of books about these type of topics, especially about Edgar Cayce. So yeah, so we grew up, and he would also, lend me some books about it. I remember, I think I shared that in one of my videos. I shared one of the books that I truly treasure. It's a book about past life as well. So yeah, so basically that's the main reason why I'm drawn, or why is it that I'm pretty much into esoteric or something to do with psychics and mediums, because my father has been discussing that at a very young, when we were just kids, when we were just really young. And he never admitted his abilities, by the way. He never did. He would actually just joke to me when I was a kid, just to share to you. When I was a kid, when I'm not feeling well, my father would rub his, palms, and he would say, I'm a magician and I'm going to heal you. I'm going to take that pain away. And as a kid, I would just, like, really? You can do magic? And so my dad would actually rub his palms and then just blow on his palms, and then he would put it on my head, and he would, like mutter something, or, I remember that. And I would suddenly feel good, and at first I thought it was just a game as a kid, like, oh, my dad is a magician. He loves, to, play these games and all that. But I never realized until, probably I was already in my, I was about 35 when I learned that from a psychic that actually our father is actually, a healer. Okay. And I don't know, actually, until now, I don't know why is it that he never admitted that to us. But I remember back when we were still young, my family and I would actually go to Laguna. Or sometimes my father would tell us that he'd go to the mountains every year, and that is in Mount Banahaw. So it's one of the, go search that up, Mount Banahaw. It's holy, a lot of psychics, a lot of healers actually goes there as well. So yeah, and he had, some friends as well who are healers, and some of them are also priests or priestess. And at that time, I wasn't really, I really didn't think much about it. To be quite honest, I really didn't think much about it. Now, when it comes to my siblings, my brother, the eldest brother, is also a psychic, by the way. More about the clairvoyant type. He can actually, see spirits. He can also describe your house without even, even though he hasn't, visited your place, he could actually describe everything, like what your house looked like, or even what it used to look like. I remember there was this time when, I don't know if it's one of his friends, we had a lunch, family lunch, and one of his friends was there, and he was discussing about it. He doesn't usually discuss about it because, again, not all people are going to believe it. And this friend was really skeptic, like, really, can you actually describe my house? So yeah, I dare you, describe my house, something like that. And so my brother actually did. And I tell you, that friend of his was so shocked. Like, I think it was his coworker who actually joined us for lunch, and he was so freaking shocked. Like, whoa, how did you know the color of the walls, the details, smallest details, like what the curtains look like, what the furnitures and everything. So yeah, at first it was the eldest brother who was openly sharing that, because, it's like my siblings are just quiet about it. Like, we do talk about it, especially that our father was discussing that to us, but yeah, my brother was actually the first one to share that. And but my brother, the eldest one, is not really much into it nowadays. Not really, like, not into it, but he's pretty much careful. I guess it's something to do with religion, because my brother is very, very religious. So I don't know if he's trying not to, to entertain it that much, but he do believe in psychics. He does believe in paranormal stuff. I think so far what he's been doing is that, but this doesn't happen very often. He would also do some house exorcism with some priests. He would be invited by priests to do some house exorcism. And I think the last time I talked to my brother, it was years ago when he actually did that again. He doesn't, do it very often though, but yeah, that was, some of the things he's been doing. And it's actually donation, by the way. It's not paid or anything like that. Okay. Now, my sister, on the other hand, is a clairvoyant as well and a medium. So ever since she was a small kid, she would actually see spirits everywhere. Not only spirits, but beings or entities from a different realm or dimension. So yeah, she is, I think as early as 4 years old, I guess, she would see that. And she actually, tried to run away from her abilities. Like, it was hard for her to fit in, and it was hard for her to accept the abilities that she has. To be quite honest, it was only recently that she acknowledged her abilities as a medium, Of course, she has, this ability to connect with spirits where she can actually relay some messages, whether, some messages from deceased, family and friends. So, yeah, so that's what she does. Just like, any psychic, any medium, she would deliver that message. And then two of my brothers, on the other hand, are more of the clairaudient type, just like me. Clairaudient. Okay, let me talk about clairaudient. Clairaudience is more about not just literally like hearing something, okay, but you can actually pick up some messages, even in your mind. In my case, I've actually, been getting some messages, like there's this thought that's going to come into my head, or sometimes I would actually hear a voice in my head. It's not that I need to take psychotic pills or anything like that. Definitely, I know I'm not crazy, but I would hear a voice. Sometimes it's a voice of a woman, a 40-year-old woman, or sometimes it's a voice of a kid or something. I would hear that. There are messages that I could actually pick up. But to be quite honest, it's not something that I have developed totally yet. But yeah, I've had that kind of experience where I would get messages. That's actually what a clairaudient is. Clairvoyant is more about visions. Clairvoyant, you see, sometimes psychics, they can see it in the form of pictures, or yeah, literally like pictures to get the message, or sometimes it's like watching a movie, like, they can see, like a scene or something, and sometimes they would hear, messages, or through sense of not only seeing and hearing, but through sense of taste or smell. Okay, so yeah, that's it. Claircognizance, on the other hand, just to share, claircognizance, as far as I know, is that it's like knowing it before it happens. Like you're 10,000% sure that this is what's going to happen next. So yeah, before it happens, you already know this is what's going to happen. So yeah, so we have claircognizance, there's clairaudient, clairsentient, clairvoyant. Again, in my case, I'm a clairaudient and also a clairsentient, which is something to do with intuition. So being an empath and being a clairsentient, I'm very much sensitive when it comes to vibrations, by the way. I easily pick up energies, or I'm very sensitive to vibrations or energies. Sometimes when I go to a place, I would easily pick up if I don't like the energy on this one spot of the house or one spot of the building. Like I don't like it. Sometimes I can't breathe, or sometimes I'd begin to smell after, feeling, that there is this certain type of energy that I really don't like, So basically you can pick up whether the house is not a good energy or it has a very positive energy. So yeah, that's it. Okay. Now that you know why is it that I'm drawn to the subject of psychics and mediums, let's now move on to early psychic readings, okay? So the earliest psychic reading that I've had, but before I actually share that, my mom, by the way, is also into psychics, and I believe her mom is a psychic, my grandmother, okay? So my mom would always, as a kid, my mom would always invite, some psychics in her house. She would always do that as a kid. She would invite some psychics and she would have a reading, she would have a reading. And I remember I was actually read by the psychic. I was only a small kid, and my mother was like pointing at me and saying, what can you see in her, or, about her future and all that. I cannot share it though. I'm sorry, but yeah, that I would have to say that was the first ever psychic reading. But personal, like when it comes to really like personal reading with the psychic, I started at the age of 27. Yeah, I had my first ever personal reading with the Nostradamus of Southeast Asia. Rest in peace, by the way. His name is Jojo Acuin. So that's Jojo, and then last name is Acuin. He's very famous in the Philippines, actually. And that was my first ever psychic reading. I had a reading, by Jojo, and it was really short, but it was shocking. I remember I had to pay like 1,500 pesos, so that's like more than $25, I guess. Yeah, just for 10 minutes. Just for 10 minutes, I'm not kidding. What happened was, I was actually like, to be very brutally honest, I was actually like asking myself, like, I'm freaking 27 years old. I've never had a boyfriend. Like, why is it that I've never had will I still have a boyfriend? Like, I was so like, probably because of social or the pressure of society or friends, and I was like losing my self-confidence. I was like, oh my God, I'm already 27 and people are making fun of me, which is, totally wrong. It was later on I realized that, you don't have to be pressured whether you're in a relationship or not. You have to enjoy your being single, just be happy with the now instead of always, fretting about what's going to happen next or the future. So I was, still immature at that time. I was 27 and I'm being pressured and all that. And I remember I asked my mom to come with me because she's really, she really loves psychics. My mom is also, she loves psychic reading so much. So I remember I was already, working at that time. And when I got my paycheck, I was like, hey, Mom, let's go to Jojo Acuin. Let's go and have a personal reading. So my mom was so excited, and we went there. And it was actually just a pretty small place. And we were actually asked to write down on a piece of blue paper. I remember it was a blue paper. You have to write down your name and all that. Okay. And when I was called to his room, so I went upstairs, and by the time I actually opened the door, he mentioned my name and he answered the question that I have. Like, I was so freaking shocked. I was so shocked, like, oh my God, how the hell did he know about what my question is? It was that eerily accurate, like, oh my God, he knows. And he gave me that answer to my question. It was just for 10 minutes. It was so short. And he also saw my father, I believe, because I was asking about my dad, who already passed away during that time. And he also told me that my father was, always with us, with the family, even though he already passed on, that he's always looking after us. And so he gave me, I'm not going to go into details because of course that's a personal reading, but that was my first ever psychic reading. Okay, before I move on to the next psychic reading experience, I'm gonna pause. I need to drink. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. Sorry. So anyway, that was the very first. I was only 27 years old at that time when I had my first ever, psychic reading. And that's with Jojo Acuin. And rest in peace, by the way. He passed away years ago, I believe. So the next experience that I had was I think a year after that. It was with this psychic. His name is August. I forgot his last name, but his name is August. And he's actually, I just later found out that he's actually a Reiki master, or yeah, I think he's a Reiki master. Because I've been visiting, this holistic wellness center, Crystal Diva, and I was told that he used to be there. But when I met him back in 2008, I believe, I had a reading with him together with my sister, and I was shocked because he was able to even describe, what my boss looked like back then. Like, whoa, that was really amazing. So he gave me a reading. I think it cost about $20, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's $20 for an hour. I'm not sure. I couldn't remember. That was back in 2008. And then the third time I had a reading, this time it was years after that, okay? It was years after that. The next time was with this friend who turned out to be my really, really close friend. She's also like my sister. And her name is Sheila, okay? And she's actually my friend, closest friend as well, like a sister. She was the one that actually helped me a lot, and taught me a lot when it comes to the world of psychics. Some things that I've actually learned from her, and kind of like a teacher, a teacher who would teach you some stuff about psychics, about mediums, about some rituals and some of the things that they normally do. Okay, and she has helped me a lot actually in my hardships or challenges with my life or with the challenges I've had at work. So yeah. She did a lot of readings for me. I remember I actually met her by accident. So it's really funny, that there's really no accident, to be quite honest. There's really, really no accident in life. So what happened was I love going to the spa or going to massage clinics and all that. So I was already working, and that was actually 2014 of December when I met her, by the way. And I had a massage, and at first she wasn't really opening up or sharing about her abilities, but after probably a month or so, that's when she started talking about Jaime Licauco again, and I was like shocked because I told her my father attended seminars by Jaime Licauco, and I told her as well that he had a regression, and so at that time she began to share more about her abilities, about auras and all that, reading auras, and then she already talked to me about what she can actually do, like do a past life reading as well. So yeah, I've had many experience with Sheila, a lot of experience when it comes to readings. She did a lot of readings for me, and I was so shocked, to be quite honest, because even though I believe in the in psychics, I believe in their abilities, and I believe in in what they can do, somehow I'm still quite of a skeptic, because I'm the type of person that I really need to be surefire. It's like guaranteed 1,000% sure for me to believe, and I'm quite curious, actually, really curious, to the point that I actually didn't say anything at all, because I'm pretty sure you're aware about cold readings, or there are other psychics, or probably not real psychics, who would actually just ask questions, and based on the questions or your answers, they would actually formulate something, But this one is different. She doesn't have any cards, no cards at all. And she actually just looked at me, and then she said a lot of accurate things, like I'm talking about very detailed things that nobody knew about that. And I was like, I didn't share anything at all. I didn't say anything. So I just simply told her, okay, what can you see? Yeah, let me know. What is it that you wanted to tell me? I didn't provide any type of information at all, but I was shocked with the details that she actually told me. So I was blown away, to be quite honest. That was the very first time I was totally blown away. Although I was, actually I was already blown away when I had a reading with Jojo. But this one is totally awesome because, it was very detailed. It was very, very detailed. And I was so shocked. Like, whoa, I didn't give her any information at all. But how come she knew all about it? I wasn't even speaking. Like, okay, go ahead. What do you want to say? Or just let me know, what is it that you wanted to tell me, And when she did that, I was so shocked that I actually, when I got home, I remember recording it. I recorded every readings that she gave me. I really did. Some of them I still have it right now, but it's funny, some of them I lost it. When I asked her why is it that I suddenly lost some of the recordings, either I would lose the recorder or sometimes it would be corrupted. And she told me that spirit is not allowing you to go back to it. That's what she told me. So yeah, there are some messages actually that are meant not to be, not meant to be there for long, basically. So as soon as a reader actually tells you something, then that's it, That's it. You don't have to dwell on it. You just have to let it go. The message was already delivered. So yeah, I've had that kind of experience, crazy experience, really. I did record everything that she told me because I wanted to make sure that if it's going to happen, then I have a proof, like I have a recording. This is what she told me and what's going to happen. So I actually recorded it, okay? And then a lot of what she told me actually came true. And I was like, oh my God, I actually still have the recording with me. And this is what you actually told me that's going to happen. And it happened exactly the way she said it. So I was totally blown away. Unfortunately, though, some of them were either it got corrupted, the file suddenly got corrupted, you cannot open it anymore, or there was also a time where I had this recorder that I used to record her voice when she would do a reading, and then for some freaking reason, it's gonna stop working until I cannot open or use it anymore, So that's really, really weird. But then again, I was told that there are some messages that are not meant to be, again, to go back to it. The message was already delivered. I also remember I was told by some psychics that I know that there are psychics who would do a reading for you. They would record it. They would allow you to listen to it. But then after that, they would actually destroy the recording. I don't know. But I don't know. I just heard that from some psychics who told me that story. What else? Those are actually my experience. A lot of experience when it comes to psychic readings. But those were my early psychic experiences or readings, psychic reading that I've had with mediums. So it's truly, truly amazing, I was like so shocked. Sometimes they would even describe the person that you're talking about. Even they don't know the person. Sometimes you would just have to say the name of that person, and then they would describe what that person looked like, what their behavior is, how they act, and all that. And it was like, whoa. I'm still amazed until now, actually. I'm still amazed until now. So yeah, I'm just sharing. I cannot divulge the entire information, especially when it comes to readings, what was revealed to me, of course, because that's something very personal. But all I can say is that I'm totally blown away. Actually, the very first psychic, or rather past life reading I had was with that friend of mine, Sheila. She was actually the one who gave me my first ever past life reading. And it was amazing, and to hear that from other psychics again, other psychics, I was like, whoa. All right. So yeah, the reason why I do that, because I really want to make sure, I just wanted to make sure, was that a coincidence? But whenever, I get the same type of message from other readers or psychics, then, that's obviously a sign that that's the truth, okay? That is it, because we're talking about different psychics already. So, yeah. Before I actually wrap this up, you might be wondering, why is it that psychics actually consult other psychics for readings? Good question, right? Because I'm pretty sure you would ask, like, for instance, you're a famous psychic, but why is it that you need to consult? You're a good psychic, you're actually a renowned psychic, you're really good in what you do, but then you actually consult other psychics for a reading. So the question is why, right? Well, the main reason why psychics actually consult or try to get a reading from other psychics is because it's going to be biased if you're going to read yourself. It's not going to be very, it's going to be biased because you're reading your own self. What if you just wanted to believe what you wanted to believe, right? So it's better to consult another psychic who would just openly let you know what they see. Okay, so no biases here. So yeah, so that's basically why they do that. You would see other mediums consulting other psychics. I remember my sister would actually either consult with my friend Sheila and ask for a reading, and she would do the same. She would do a reading, or my sister would do a reading for her, things like that. So yeah, that's it. That's something I just wanted to share to you about psychics, about mediums, and why is it that I'm actually drawn to psychics and mediums. When it comes to past life, though, I was told by a psychic, by the way. His name is Marlo, and he's also a Reiki practitioner and a healer. I was told that in many, many of my lifetimes in the past, I'm actually already into esoteric. I was also a healer in the past, so that's the reason why until in this lifetime I'm pretty much into it. So anything to do with esoteric, or when it comes to healing, or when it comes to psychics and all that. So yeah, that's it. All right. So again, thank you so much for listening. If you don't believe, it is okay. It's all about RESPECT, respect. Okay. So I'll see you soon. Hope you enjoyed the things that I've just shared. Probably next time I'm going to talk about, not sure, probably about empaths or things like that. Yeah, about being an empath and the challenges of being an empath. Probably that's, some of, one of the topics I'd like to talk about. So there you go. I'll see you next time. Thank you so much for listening. Bye.